Jay, I know you guys have probably had some time to go over the tape.
Yep.
Anything new reveal itself, or what are your thoughts the morning after?
Well, we certainly got to be a whole lot better than we were yesterday, and for us, our focus going to our checking and defensive skills can improve greatly, and that's where we'll be going with our group.
What did you think of Mike Smith and Willie play in Game 2?
Yeah, I thought Mike Smith was excellent for us all playoffs long. Last night, I didn't think we did much as a team to help him out in certain situations. We'll determine Mike's status and Mikko's status tomorrow.
Jay, is this an execution or a structure thing, or do you have to actually change things to try to slow them down?
Well,
and how difficult is it at this time of year to tweak more than a little bit?
Yeah, I think if you've gone out and you've performed at the level you want to perform, and you give up 7 goals, then it's worrisome. But for us, we don't feel that we executed at the level that we know we can execute at, specifically on the defensive side of things. And for us, there's some things that we have to clean up in our game. Now, that's on the negative side of things. On the positive side of things, we found a way to fight our way back, and that's positive and everything like that. But we got way behind early. That doesn't set us up for success. We found a way to score 6 goals. That's a positive sign. But for us, our execution and attention to detail with our checking and our fundamental defensive skills can improve.
So are you basically saying the same thing to the players that you said to them after the 9-6 game in Calgary?
Well, I think there were some different things that showed up in that game. It's a different opponent, different strengths of a different opponent. It's not just rinse and repeat with that message, but what I liked was our stick-to-itiveness on a tough night. It wasn't going our way. We knew that, but I think it's a sign of a good team and good group when you can stick to something. Now, there's a lot of things that we can do better to ensure that we don't dig ourselves the hole we dug ourselves last night.
Normally when you play, you're the faster team on the ice. Last night it looked a lot of the game that they were a much faster team. Is that something that you have to adjust to, or how do you counteract
I
that?
think both teams have good speed. I think we did a lot of things with speed that gave them some issues. They did some things with speed that gave us issues. We're in the Final Four of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're playing good teams here, and this team can skate, but so can we.
Jay, one of the positives was you got some better results out of your bottom 6 guys in terms of the McLeod, Fogle, and Ryan scoring goals. Mm-hmm. Was that a positive in a
Yeah,
loss?
I think it's a positive. I think
you needed that, obviously.
Yeah, I think we did get some contributions up and down our lineup. As I said, our focus is not going to the stuff we created, the 6 goals and everything like that. Our focus is going to the defensive side of things. We know we can be better. To a man, we can be better, and that's up and down our lineup. And I think if we do that, we feel comfortable in the offensive zone in terms of when we get our chances.
Jay, you said last night that Colorado they're a different animal.
Yeah.
And just a thought on puck maintenance, specific to the fact that they got 3D that can not only transition but also transport.
Yeah.
And change the dynamic when they're on the
Yeah,
ice.
I think puck management's a key against this group. I think any defenseman in the National Hockey League that is given a puck and their eyes are facing up ice, that's a challenge. And then you look at their decor. If you give them the puck and their eyes are staring up ice, they can do some things. We think it's to our advantage to make sure that they have to turn and go back and face their end, so that they have to solve some problems. And certainly puck management's an area that we can be better in.
So we've done this press conference like 3 times now, right? After the first game, how come we didn't start? And,
Yep.
and the micro level after a lot of games, you guys have said, man, we got to start better than this. Is this part of your team's DNA that you just don't jump into series the way maybe other teams do?
Well, this team has lost 3 game number 1s. I can't tell you that we haven't done that. That's a fact. I think in all 3 of those games, they were tied or within 1 goal. So did we play perfectly? We didn't play perfectly. We know we can be better, just like we could be better after game 1 versus LA. just like we could be better after game 1 versus Calgary. So that is what it is. You got to give credit to the other teams sometimes too, and they did some good things.
Jay, you've been asked about the speed of the Avalanche, and they're maybe a little bit different opponent than the other two that you faced in these playoffs. I just wonder about you've got a couple of guys that have been scratched that are known more for their speed. Do you think this is maybe a chance to inject a little bit more speed into your bottom six?
I think we have a lot of really good players at our disposal, DNB, and that's the luxury of our coaching staff is that we have some guys that are certain ingredients that have the trust of the coaching staff. We feel comfortable with everybody at our disposal.
I think McCarr was out against McDavid, 14 minutes, 5-on-5, 19, all situations. Just what'd you think of that matchup? And was there a difference?
Well,
the
I
first
saw
period
Connor
to the
get
third?
3 points in the game, I think, right? So he did a lot of really good things offensively. I think their line had some good moments on offense. Defensively is where, just like with the entire group, that group can improve, and they know that. And like I said, to a man, we can all be better.
Jay, what do you want to see more of from Jesse Pugliarvi, who played 7.5?
I thought that line was excellent last night, actually. I thought they did some really good things. I thought Jesse, when he's moving his feet, is a force to handle down low. I was quite comfortable with that line last night.
Played 7.5 minutes.
Sometimes, Jim, that's the way the minutes work out, but I was quite comfortable with that line last night.
What's the key to bouncing back in the second game?
Well, I think anytime you're working your way through a playoff series, it's about which team can evolve, which team can make subtle adjustments to improve. And that's what we've been about for the last 3 months. We're talking about getting better on a daily basis. So today we're going to sit down, we're going to have meetings with our group of players. We're going to give them something that they can hang their hats on, and we're going to look to improve heading into tomorrow night.
When you have a chaotic game like that, I don't know how much you'll be willing to share, but what's your process in breaking it down? Like, do you look at period to period? Are you looking at specific matchups? Like, we're all at 40,000 feet questions, and maybe that's. But I'm just curious, what's your process? Like, what areas of the game did you like at what times, and what didn't you? How much will you be willing to share that?
Well, I think I would tell you that, and probably the local media can attest, is that I've been very, very consistent in our messaging, very consistent in our process. So our process doesn't change whether it's a chaotic game like you mentioned. We go through our work. Every inch of film, we work to make sure we're giving our players good information, and we're looking to improve. We're consistent in our process, and we're looking for consistent progress.
I'll ask it this way, Jay. Without a practice today to maybe go out and work on those things fundamentally in the moment, how critical is video? And is there temptation, you have to not overdo it at the same time, that balance there?
Yeah, I think you got to, give everything, or give your players everything they need and nothing they don't need. And we're talking about consistency in our process. That's been our process the entire playoffs. Typically, we take the next day to make sure we're resting and resetting physically, mentally, and emotionally, and then we head into the next game. And that has been our process.
Jay, you pulled Mike, and he was not at fault. It looked like it was
Yeah.
just like our team is not playing good.
Yeah.
I got to do something here. I'm not hanging this guy out. The chances were just too good. Was that what you think?
That's exactly what I was thinking, Jim. Yeah, I just wanted to slow the game down a little bit, and it had nothing to do with Mike's play. We didn't do a good enough job in front of him, and as I said, to a man, we can all be better.
That's a unique sort of situation where he's had some games that just, really went the wrong way and he had to give away, and you guys put him back in there without a second's worth of hesitation, knowing that what you're going to get from him.
Yeah, I think with Mike Smith, you know what you're getting. You talk about someone who's consistent in his process. Mike Smith is a true professional. He's able to have a short memory on some things, and he's going to work to be the best that he can be.
What differences do you see between Kemper and Francouz?
Well, I've seen Francouz a lot in the American Hockey League, so I have a good understanding of what he brings to the table. He's a right-handed glove. He's not the same size as Darcy Kemper, and those would be the major differences. I'm not going to go into our book on Pavel Francouz.
What did you think? Mikko's game was quite good when he came in relief.
Yeah, I thought Mikko gave us a chance to
Yeah.
win the game. He made some saves at the right time. We still weren't as clean defensively as myself or our coaching staff would want, but he made some big saves, and in the end, we found a way to make it a 7-6 hockey game, and we had a couple grade A's to tie that up. We didn't do it. Sometimes you get what you earn in hockey, and we weren't as good as we needed to be last night. We all know that.
Jay, I know it's not a new subject, but after 13 games, Connor McDavid he's only 1 point away of 3 points.
Yeah.
Still amazed by the way he's playing offensively.
Yeah, I mean, he finds a way to put teams on their back foot. He makes plays. Even when our team isn't playing at the level we know we can play at as a team, his plays, his leadership gave us a chance to crawl back into that game. And as I said, we were 1 goal down in the third period. Now, that said, I also know the type of person and leader he is, and he knows, just like the rest of our group knows, we got to be a whole lot better, and it starts in the defensive end.
What was the reasoning for switching back to Kane playing with Connor and Leon when Hyman was?
You know what? Just the way that game was going, sometimes you move the chess pieces around, and we were looking for a little bit of a spark, and we got one, and it just didn't materialize in a win for us.
Do you expect part of the, adjustment from your team in Game 2 to be different because they know how volatile, obviously that crowd is, and just, they know what's going to be coming at them from the other side?
Yeah, I didn't think that the building was intimidating in any way. Not to our team. We got a lot of people with a lot of experience. We've been in some 2 tough buildings already. In terms of understanding what's coming at you, I think Game 1 is typically that kind of feel out process. And in the end, as well as Colorado was able to build a lead on us, we're putting our focus on ourselves and where we can be a whole lot better. And as I've said here throughout this press conference, it begins with our checking and our fundamental defensive skills. Good, thanks, guys.
going to decide tomorrow who starts in goal, but Mike Smith's kind of been here before, and how confident are you guys that he can bounce back if he is starting tomorrow?
We're very confident in Mike. We're very confident in both goalies. Obviously, we didn't do enough to help Mike out early in the game, and just gave him way too many really good chances. And obviously, a team like that's going to find a way to put those in.
Ryan, what did you feel was the difference in that game? Because you hung with them for good stretches, but ultimately didn't get the job done.
Well, I mean, they came in waves at us and scored in bunches there for a bit, and we need to find a way to weather the storm a little bit and have our own little pushback. And I think we started to push obviously in the third period, and we didn't give up, and that's kind of been something that our team's done a really good job this year is sticking with it, being resilient, and not quitting on each other. So that's obviously a good sign, but at the same time, you give up 7 goals. I mean, it's hard to come back to that.
So we've done this press conference now after the first game in LA, and the first game in Calgary, and the first game in Colorado. And in the micro sort of sense, you guys have started slow on a lot of games, and we've always talked about that and wondered why. Is this just who you guys are? Is this just the team you are? You come into a series and kind of wade in a little bit.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's who we are. I mean, we definitely had the mindset to win the first 10 minutes yesterday, and we did a pretty good job of that. And then we let it get away from us a little bit. So, I mean, you kind of said game ones haven't been our thing for sure. I mean, there's no question of that, but. At the same time, we got to start better. I think in that Calgary series, we started to see our starts become better, and it pushes teams back, and then we start rolling from there. So it's something that we're very capable of, and we got to find that tomorrow.
So after that Calgary game, you're looking at it like, oh man, the Oilers are going to get rolled in this series, and something clicks, and you basically win the next 4. What happens between that game 1 and the different team that kind of emerges for the rest of the series?
Obviously, we know it's a long series. We didn't play our best. We didn't play our best last night. We didn't play our best in that first Calgary game, and we know that we have better. So we're confident in ourselves and in each other, and we just have to find a way to bring out our best in that next game. Obviously, you can't take too many nights off, and being a road team to start a series, you want to be able to take a split going back home, and we have an opportunity to do that tomorrow.
You guys have that even keel message, but does the internal urgency kind of ramp up a little bit, or do you have to treat it like?
I mean, for sure, there's urgency. I mean, we know that you can't let it get away from you, but at the same time, there's not the panic. It's more urgency, and find a way to bring our best.
Ryan, in that series against Calgary, after that first game, in the second game, you guys were obviously played a lot differently. What Jay takes you guys through with looking at that game 1 tape, how much of that helps pinpoint what you guys have to do differently and change?
There will definitely be specific things that we'll go through that they do that we didn't do well enough that we have to correct, and you got to be able to see those things right away and be able to adjust and bear down and fix some stuff. So I mean that definitely. It's up to him to show us, and it's up to us to execute.
Are you get used to this? Like I would say, are the same things he's going to show you today, or has showed you, are they the same things they showed you after the other game ones? Are they? You recognize them now and go, oh yeah, we should know that.
Well, I'd say every team is a little bit different that we've played, so there will definitely be some things that Colorado did that is different than what Calgary did, different than what LA did. So. We'll see that stuff, and there's definitely some stuff that we do that we need to get back to, and he'll show us that stuff too. So I mean, it's stuff that there's different things that we're gonna have to correct, and it kind of goes both ways. Where we got to correct stuff that we need to do better, and be able to shut down stuff that they do.
Was there an element of shell shock early on, like first 25, 26 minutes of the game, where you're down 7-3, and then you kind of start chipping away at it? Like, what happened in those first 25 minutes? Like, what's the mentality there?
Well, I thought we did a decent job of starting the game. I mean, obviously they put a lot of pressure on us in the first period, but we still we found a way to tie it up, and then that one goal becomes 2 heading into the second period, and then they kind of got momentum off that and started rolling. And like I said before, I mean. When they get rolling like that, we need to find a way to weather the storm and have our own little pushback, and we're definitely capable of doing that. We just didn't do a good enough job last night.
Speaking of different differences, Ryan. I just wanted, between the different teams, like Colorado's probably the fastest team that you've played. Can you guys match that, or is there something you need to do to maybe like counter it a little bit?
No, I think I definitely think that we're a fast team. I think we have the ability to be able to match that, and I think playing fast through the neutral zone is going to be something that we need to be better at tomorrow and moving forward here, and just being able to put pucks in positions where we have an opportunity to play in the offensive zone. Once we got down there, we started to find our game a little bit more, but obviously on the other side, that's a team that wants to play in our zone too. So I mean, we got to find a way to create a little bit more speed coming through the neutral zone and come up with pucks and create some stuff down low.
Ryan, it's really not easy to produce at a rhythm of a point per game. But Connor McDavid, it's more than 2 per game. Is it unreal, or it's Connor McDavid?
Well, probably a little bit of both. It's the way that he stepped up in these playoffs and led our team, and emotionally, physically, obviously offensively. It's obviously something that you want from your leader, but don't know if there's another guy that is able to do what he can do.
Ryan, when you scored to make it just a 1-goal game, were you thinking, geez, we still got lots of time left? This wasn't like you scored in the last minute and then we ran out of time. Were you thinking, geez, we still got 7-8 minutes here. We can get the tying goal.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, especially after scoring one before, and we just wanted to chip away. I mean, we had the mindset. Obviously, we weren't happy with the position we were in heading into the third period, but at the same time, down 3, you got to get one first 5 minutes and then just slowly chip away. And we are confident in our group to be able to do that. It's a spot that we don't want to be in, but if we get in a situation like that, we're confident that we can get that done. And unfortunately, we just couldn't find that last one last night. Okay, thanks, guys. Yep.
Yeah, I got it last year at a game.
So, Cody, is the message pretty much from Jay the same as it was after the 9-6 game in Calgary, that we scored 6, but we just defensively we just didn't do a good enough job?
Yeah, we have our meeting coming up soon here, and I think it's going to be pretty similar, unfortunately. I don't think we played well enough defensively, but showed a lot of character in trying to come back and make it a close game. We had some chances late, but we gave up way too many goals to win that game.
Now, was their speed in the first 25, 30 minutes way more than, you're a fast team, but they were on you. You had no room to move. At least that's the way it looked.
Yeah, they came out flying, but we expected that. I mean, it's the Western Conference Finals, and they're playing at home. Their building was loud, and yeah, they came out fast, and they got behind us a couple times.
Who are the guys that stand up and say something in the admission in a game like that to try to get you guys back on track?
There's a lot of leaders on our team right now. Everyone's pretty comfortable in the room at this point of the year. Dunks has been a good leader. Smitty's been a good leader for us, as well as Leon and Connor and Nursey. So everyone's kind of stepping up and saying the right things. It's just sometimes a matter of going out and doing it and responding the right way.
Does it carry more weight when it's a guy like Keith, who's literally done almost anything you can do in a playoff series, in any situation?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he brings that intensity in the room and on the bench every single night, and then that's what I guess that's what it takes to win the cup. Is every single night you can't every play matters. You can't sit back and and just see what's going to happen. You gotta bring it.
You guys have definitely had your comeback wins in the past. How have you weathered the storms better, maybe in past games, that you can take into this series as well?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of momentum swings. They're that much bigger in playoffs, especially when you're playing in another team's building. I think we got a little down ourselves after they called that a good goal, and then we gave up one on the power play right after. So I think it was a big momentum swing that kind of changed the course of the game, and we kind of got away from how we were playing in the last series to be successful.
You were saying Connor McDavid for drills at practice every day. I asked Ryan the same question, but to see him with 29 points in only 13 games, is it unreal or it's only Connor McDavid?
Yeah, I still think it's unreal. I think people are getting used to it, but it is pretty spectacular what he's doing, and you can see how bad he wants to win, and I think that really reflects on him as a player. He's not just sitting back saying, I'm doing my job. He's trying to do everything he can to move on.
Cody, you guys, a couple of times now in the postseason, it hasn't gone well in game one, but you guys have had this way of bouncing back in game twos with different structure and kind of a different level of play. How much confidence does that give you in this moment, and where do you think that comes from between those two games?
I think it definitely helps a little bit, but they showed us last night how good of a team they can be. So we're gonna have to bring our A game tomorrow. We came here with a focus on getting one of the two games, so tomorrow's gonna be very important for our team.
Yeah, so the bad news is you're a team that kind of puts your toe in the water in this series by the looks of it, but the good news is you keep coming back, and you've got evidence here that you keep doing it. That's got to give you something good to come out of this thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we could have lost yesterday 1-0 or 2-1. It's all the same. We lost the game, and now our focus is on tomorrow and getting the game, and then heading back home and seeing what we can do there.
So everybody knows that if you fall behind 0-2, it's big trouble. So what's the key to walking the line between being urgent but not being afraid to lose?
Yeah, that's the thing is we just have to come out and be urgent, be confident. Our group has done a great job to get this far, and it'd be too bad if we let it slip away. So tomorrow's a big game for us, and we're gonna focus and bring our A game.
Cody, you played the Avs 3 times late in the season. Do you think that they're different than they were, and maybe you are as well, despite the fact you've seen each other fairly recently, as opposed to maybe having played like in October or November?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they locked up a spot pretty early and kind of cruised into playoffs. They had some injuries and whatnot. So right now they're healthy and they're really playing. They're playing the right way. So they're. I mean, they're a good hockey team, but I think we're a good hockey team as well. And I mean, last night showed the game got away from us, but we still battled back, and it was a closer game than it seemed.
Thank you.